Hey everyone, it's day 12, and today's theme is setting boundaries at work. Setting boundaries is essential for our well being and productivity. Jesus himself knew when it was time to step away and rest. We see this in Luke 5:16. But Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and prayed. Boundaries aren't about doing less, but about creating space to recharge and protect our mental and spiritual health. One simple way to set boundaries is by establishing specific work hours. A lot of us take work home. We need to be able to do our work during our contract hours. I've heard that term so much as an educator, working during my contract hours. But there are moments where we take it beyond the contract hours just to be sure that we have the essential things we need to make the lesson, to make the day, to make the project be what it needs to be. So, another thing I wanted to highlight to you all is an article that I found. This article comes from MailChimp. MailChimp had a just a little snippet on their website about this topic, boundaries. So I want to go ahead and read this portion here because it talks about the four types of healthy boundaries. And as we go into our work week this week, we need to be able to establish healthy boundaries. So let's go to the first one. The first category of healthy boundaries is physical. Physical boundaries create a comfortable and respectful space in your work environment. They ensure that your physical space and interactions allow you to work productively. So the key points here are number one, respect personal space. This is a big one, especially for those of us that work in office settings. We find ourselves with individuals coming, to sit down at our desk and have those catch up times. And, I myself can sometimes go to one of my coworkers' rooms and I'm like, hey girl, what's going on? But I make sure to ask the question, are you available to chat? Or is this a good time for you? Because again, I know myself, I definitely need that personal space with a high demand, high emotional situations that occur in the workplace during my contract hours. I definitely need that moment, just like Jesus said in Luke 5:16, to just literally get to myself and pray. And so you never know what your coworker may be going through or experiencing throughout their workday. And so that personal space is necessary. And the third one I want to highlight, I know it's 3 points, but the third point, I'm going to skip number two. The third point I want to highlight is define social time. When can we just hee hee ha ha? And when should I or we kind of catch up at a later point? All right, let's go on. Mental boundaries. Mental boundaries help keep work related stress and thoughts from taking over your free time. Some examples of this is one, no work emails after hours. Woo, child. I tell you what, my husband gets on me all the time like, Brianna, why do you have your email connected to your phone? If that's you in the comments, I want you to share that. Either let's do a quick poll. A, you keep your work email on your phone, or B, work email is truly at work. Once you get to work and you open up your laptop or computer, that's when you see that email. It is not after the contract hours. Let me know in the comments. Are you A or are you B? All right. The second one is limit work discussions. Whether you are, discussing matters during your vacation time, your lunch break, or off duty hours. Yes. Woo. I'm going to talk about myself. To all my teachers out there, can we have let's get closer. Get closer to the screen. We have to stop doing this. I'm telling you, our work discussions can end up spiraling into complaining. I can honestly admit, guys, it does get tough. It gets challenging. And you just want to have that moment to just get it off your chest. And trust me, you need to do that. Do hear me clear? You need to do that. But there has to be what's the word of the day? A boundary. Once you get it off your chest, once you share, we have to move forward. You never know. the coworker you're sharing with could actually have an awesome day happening. And now you have dumped your concerns on them. We have to be very mindful of that. Okay. And then lastly, reducing extra tasks. Can we just breathe in together? Breathe in and breathe out. We have to reduce the extra. There are some moments in our job where we're like, yes, if I can complete these 5 papers before I go home today, that will be great. Or you might get a knock on your door from your supervisor and they're like, hey, I need project Z done today. But it's like, I was working on project A. You really have to learn how to reduce extra tasks and delegate. If you are the supervisor listening to me right now, learn how to delegate. Also, understand your team, recognize and respect your team. There are some moments where, hey, we all got to pull together and get this project done. And there are other moments where we put unnecessary pressure. And this week, this day specifically, I want us to take off the unnecessary pressure. Can I tell you guys, setting boundaries is the key to success, because once you have set those boundaries, you have, allowed yourself to just do what you're supposed to do and close it out. That's my phrase, y'all. Close it out. If you're supposed to do 3 things, close it out. I'm gonna shout out somebody real quick before we go to emotional boundaries. Emotional boundaries. Erin on Demand. I'm shouting her out because she has created a journal called Top 3. And I'm going to link it in the description for you guys. But the journal is called Top 3. And her focus every day is to complete her top 3 things. That's it. A lot of us are creating lists like a laundry list, like Santa Claus list. The naughty, the nice list, how it's multiple things up there. Yes, let's stop doing that. Let's actually take a tip from Erin on Demand and let's keep it at our top 3. When you think about what you have planned for today or even tomorrow this week, keep it at 3 things per day. Can we take that challenge? 3 things per day. Moving on. Emotional boundaries. Emotional boundaries help you to keep your feelings separate from your job. This means not spending time feeling bad about yourself because of work issues or getting too caught up on people's personal. Hello. Setting these boundaries preserves your self-respect and helps you handle work matters without getting upset. Can I tell you, the first thing this article mentions is respond, don't react. Let that sink in. Respond, don't react. Always aim to respond thoughtfully to stressful situations rather than reacting impulsively. Can I tell you guys, this topic is just hitting my house, okay? It's hitting me hard because this has been a major, major challenge for me this year. So I definitely wanted to highlight this for you guys because lack of boundaries creates chaos, creates stress, creates all of those things we've already kind of highlighted so far during this challenge. And so as you are assessing yourself, what is your response like? Do you have boundaries on how you respond? Detach from drama. That's another factor. Detach from the drama. And then lastly, seek constructive feedback. In our workplaces, we all have, quotas or key things we need to get accomplished. But it's okay to take a moment and just say, you know what? Let me get somebody's 2 cents on this. And if they are against or not in favor of what you are sharing, hey, you open that door for constructive feedback. So receive that. That's another thing. We have to receive even when the person isn't necessarily on our side. I've noticed that even in our country today, a lot of people don't allow you to just have your opinion or have your feedback. They judge you for how you respond with your feedback. But hey, you open that door. So allow me to share my true thoughts so that you can hopefully be better or improve in such area or whatever the area is. So let's keep that in mind. Lastly, this is good. Thank you, MailChimp, for providing this. Number 4 on their list of the boundaries to consider is time boundaries. And it says time boundaries help you balance your time so that work doesn't take over everything else. With these boundaries, you can do your job well without letting it eat into your time for family, hobbies, or rest. Loose time boundaries can lead to working too long or at odd hours, resulting in a what? Poor work life balance. Didn't we just talk about this? Mm-hmm. We did. We did. And so here's some key things to consider. Fixed work hours. A lot of us, we know what our shift is. And if our shift fluctuates because of where we work at, we have to begin to plan ahead. Number two, take mandatory breaks to just woosah. I'm telling you guys, I'm putting this into practice regularly. I am. And lastly, no work on personal time. Decide not to work during your personal time like evenings and weekends. Can I tell you guys, all four of these boundary focuses is what we need to definitely assess as we go into the rest of our day and into this week. We need to be able to set healthy boundaries and so that we can be the best that we can be. And so as we reflect, I want you guys to think, what is one boundary you can set at work this week? And I want you to share it below if you are comfortable. And on tomorrow, we're going to be exploring productivity tips because even with setting out these boundaries, we need to make sure we have things in place that help us be the most productive we can be so that we can keep the boundaries that we have already set. So, with that being said, this is day 12 of Faith Flourish Bloom Challenge. I'm Brianna Baker. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. And I cannot wait to see you in the next video. Don't forget, set those boundaries. See ya.